Manchester United returned to Premier League action against Wolves on Thursday. The 4-2 win against Newport was a win, but it should have been a convincing one. Not a game where United went 2-0 up, conceded 2, and then needed to come and get another 2 goals. It should have been a steamrolling. But anyway, we're going to take a look at Wolves. Will Rashford start? Will Onana return from AFCON in time to be available? I'm going to run through all of Ten Hag's comments from the press conference where he speaks about Rashford, discipline, and team news. I'm going to take a look at the starting 11 we played against Newport and any lessons we learned and any changes we need to make for a Wolves team, which are definitely going to be a threat and a danger. You can let me know your predictions for the team and the game in the comments, as you always do. But let's go straight to the press conference. And, of course, the first talking point is Marcus Rashford. Or not the talking point. Erik Ten Hag is case closed, right? I've already released a statement. Manchester United have already released it. What's the point in asking me again? Case closed. He was asked further about whether Rashford's actions showed a lack of respect towards him, and he downplayed that. But in my opinion, it did towards Ten Hag, the club, the players, kind of everybody. And I think Rashford knows that. I mean, you'd like to think he knows that, but as he said there, just focus on the football. That's all Rashford can do now, and he's put the extra pressure on himself. This is the line here that Ten Hag's been saying basically the whole way through since he's been United boss. About discipline, nutrition, recovery, and sleep. He keeps talking about how the whole lifestyle of a footballer. It's not just what you do in training; it's outside of it that all completely impacts it. And he's been trying to change that since he came in. Hasn't quite got there yet, but with the pressure that Ineos are exerting from above now, and also installing that sort of excellence mindset, things are actually going to start changing in this club. Now, in terms of availability, Mount isn't available, but Onana will be back and available for the game. So we take a look at who we started against Newport. And there were positives from the game. We scored 4 goals, but there were plenty of negatives as well. In terms of Wolves, this is the 11 that they put out most recently against West Brom in the FA Cup. And their danger man is most definitely Pedro Neto. So if we're looking at this team who played against Newport, I'm looking at that being the danger point, which means that there's going to have to be conversations around that side. And who should start? Now, let's go. Let's have. I said it before the tournament. I said it in the build-up to the tournament, and I'll say it after the tournament. It was just really weird. The whole AFCON situation with Onana, Cameroon, and United was weird. He stayed for the Spurs game, flew out there, played 1 out of 4 games, got knocked out on his back. And he's probably going to start this game here against Wolves. And Bayindir is going to go back to the bench. I don't think Bayindir did anything wrong in that game against Newport. Nor did he do anything that makes you go, oh, wow, spectacular. Let's change it straight away. Erik Ten Hag will continue to try and get the most out of Onana. And 2 reasons why he should be playing better in this game. There's 1 and there's 2. We finally got some players in this team, the 2 players in this team that will help with progression out from the back. That's the reason we signed Onana. We've not seen any of it really, and we haven't really had the team to do it. The excuses aren't there anymore. The justification isn't there anymore. The injury is stopping it. No. Now we need to see returns and results because Luke Shaw is in that team and Martinez is in that team. And my, how we've missed them. Really, really have. Now, I actually think it's going to be pretty much bang on the same defence. Not pretty much. Actually bang on the same defence, apart from Onana coming in for Bayindir. I think Delot... Delot's actually got the best tackle success rate in the Premier League. Of anybody that has gone in full 50 tackles or more, he's completed more of them, like 88% of them. Where it does go wrong is when he switches off. Balls over the top, balls to the back post. That's certainly one of his biggest weaknesses. But I would keep that back 5. We should be better at playing out from the back with the ball. And if we're not with Martinez and Shaw in the team, huge red flags absolutely everywhere. Now, somebody who returned against Newport, but in my opinion just was underwhelming, was Casemiro. Casemiro, I've said this comparison so many times, but it just rings true. Feels like a Rooney type player that it will take him a few games to come back to sort of match fitness. You can have fitness, but match sharpness is very different. Wolves, you know what happened in the first day of the season. Man, that was bad. Casemiro got so overexposed because Bruno and Mount were running forward so much. I think it was Cunha, and I'm not sure who else it was running in behind. But they made mincemeat of our midfield. Now, it should be different because of this lad. It's mad. It's not that I'm putting pressure on him, but it should be different. The midfield setup should be different. And you know what Erik ten Hag does, right? Especially when we win games, there's rarely too many changes between the games. He doesn't like to rotate that often. And we've only got one major game a week now. In fact, we've only got one game a week. So I think he's going to be starting that midfield trio again. And I think he should. And I need to see, in my opinion, I need to see more from Casemiro in this game. It looked like against Newport, he's kind of been doing this all season, like looking for the ball way over the top, like the ball really from deep, the Hail Mary ball. Martinez was significantly more successful at trying those than Casemiro was. He just kind of doesn't even look. He just like hooks a ball around the corner and hopes that it will like curve back and go towards one of our wingers. I just want Casemiro to do the simple things properly, dude. Like, you're going to be that number 6 role. You're going to be sitting there behind Mainu and behind Bruno. You have to be a facilitator. You don't have to be the creator. Even if he wants to be. That's your position in this midfield setup. Please do it, because we have one of the best creators. You don't have to find a glorious ball in behind from this position. All you've got to do is be smart, work it through the lines, and get the ball to Bruno in this position. Because it just hasn't happened often enough this season. I keep saying that Bruno's one of the best creators, but he's not creating enough for Højlund. He's not getting the ball, just like Højlund's not getting enough of the ball. Have Mainu as the gap, so to bridge that gap between Casemiro and Bruno. He can be the one facilitating those runs in between. And he got a goal against Newport because he found that space on the edge of the box. He's very good as a number 8 as well. Casemiro, be better. He has to improve on what he showed against Newport. And of course, the big old questions, well, the main question really, going into this game is, will Marcus Rashford start? Now, as Erik ten Hag said in his press conference, case closed. So as far as ten Hag is concerned, Marcus Rashford is available for selection. But in my opinion, I think he starts on the bench. And I think it will be Garnacho keeping his spot there. Now, as I said, the biggest threat that Wolves will have will be just down that whole right flank. Okay, it will be Pedro Neto. The fact that we've got Shaw and Martinez there will be good. Casemiro is going to have to come in and squeeze space there. Mainu's going to have to make sure he covers in the middle too. Bruno will have to come back. It might end up being like a more of a 4-2-3-1 in defensive shape. And then going forward, Mainu can accelerate forward with Casemiro trying to stay back in position. But Garnacho is going to have to really cover and track this space area. All of that. And he's done that. I think it was Galatasaray away where I was particularly impressed with Garnacho. But I think he's capable of doing that. And I think he will do that. And I think we'll see Marcus Rashford on the bench. I also think we'll see Marcus Rashford come off the bench. Last year, remember, it was Marcus Rashford who got dropped for the game against Wolves after being late for training. Came off the bench and scored the winner. Are we going to see part 2 of that? Maybe, maybe not. But in my opinion, Garnacho keeps his spot there. I would personally prefer to see Garnacho start out in that right wing. Anthony got a goal, right? And an assist against Newport. But it was just underwhelming. He's just a very frustrating player to watch. And I think that a lot of fans' patience is kind of running out with Anthony, if not already run out. Now, somebody who can we start to set the team up to get him the ball? And I've spoken about this a few times, and there's 2 changes that have to happen in attack. One of 2 changes. Number 1, when we get into these positions, right? When you get Anthony over here, and then you got, oh dear, wrong thing. You got Anthony over there, or Garnacho, this doesn't really matter, over there with the ball. And then you get Delo on the overlap. And Anthony can cut inside there, or just pass it through to Delo on the overlap. Højlund never really gets found. What we did against Newport that worked really well was a cut back to the edge. Bruno scored 1. Mainu scored 1. Right? Either we have to start whipping it in to this area, like Newport's goal, and Højlund will try and get on the end of it. Or we have to tell Højlund, instead of doing your natural runs, just for the last couple of yards, just hold back. Hold back for that cutback. So it's going to have to be a tweak in Højlund's game, or a tweak in the passes, the final passes that we are delivering. One of those 2 things has to happen, and all of a sudden, Højlund will get a lot more service. And I really want to see Bruno getting the ball in this position. That hasn't happened anywhere near enough this season because he's been sort of running around. He's been trying to do 2, 3 jobs at once. Just get Bruno to be the chief creator from there. And I guarantee you, we create so many more chances. But predictions for this game against Wolves. What was my prediction against Newport? I think it was 4-1. Not far off, actually. Forgot about that. 4-2. Wolves have had an absolutely massively mixed bag this season. And so have we. I'd love it to... I'm going to go for a 1-0. Man, we ain't scoring much. So have you seen our bench, right? Look at the attacking options we got up there. Martial, I may as well just go, goodbye. You're not United player anymore. Forson, Ahmad, and Rashford. No Sancho, no Pellistri, no Martial. My word, we are thin. If you're looking at who could come from the under-18s, you might be able to see him on the bench, Biancelli. Ethan Wheatley. Well, Shea Lacey's only just coming through. Shea Lacey's way off. Miss it. There's a few players there that you could see on the bench because we are just thin in numbers. But in terms of predictions, I'm going to go for a 1-0. And I can't say that with a massive amount of conviction, if I'm completely honest. But Erik, man, it really is now or never. And by now, I mean the next 6, 7 weeks. Because in my opinion, if Erik ten Hag doesn't get this Manchester United team playing in the next 6, 7 weeks, I think there's a chance that he could get sacked in March. That would be my just my gut feeling, just in how clinical and decisive I'm seeing Ineos being. I don't think they'll wait until the end of the season, nor do I think they can, because Liverpool need a new manager, Barcelona need a new manager, and there's going to be other clubs that need new managers too, maybe Bayern Munich. There's going to be a manager merry-go-round. I don't think United will just wait until the end of the season and then start. I think they'll get in there early and maybe bring in an interim. Just my personal feeling of the direction I think Ineos are taking us. So, Erik, get this team playing. That's my starting 11. I'm going for a 1-0 win. We're a bit wafer thin in terms of options up front. So how about you get the ball to the man who's actually been scoring goals when he gets opportunities? Get Hoyland the ball. 1-0 win. I think Rashford will start on the bench. What's your prediction? Let me know in the comments.